Good afternoon, and yes, it is afternoon, Friday afternoon to be exact. And welcome to the Road to Recovery, the Road to Freedom with Mark. This is my 28-minute show every Friday. I know you may be picking it up on the web. I hope you are. I hope that modern technology is helping to spread the good word. My show is about mental health. It's about suffering from mental health problems, and I have been doing this for many, many years. This is not just some popularist bandwagon that I've chosen to jump on and then forget 6 months later. This is something that I have to go through every day, every single day, every minute of every day, and it ain't easy. It used to be a lot tougher, but people are coming round to the fact that everyone struggles at some point in their lives, and when they do, it's always surprising how few people are around and how little help there is. So-called friends very quickly evaporate, and it's incremental. Bit by bit, they just fade away and don't have anything to do with you. In the past, there was a certain repugnance about it. People were repulsed by the fact that you were perhaps not normal, and madness was looked at as either something extremely sad and almost like a disease, or alternatively something funny, something to be laughed at. And that is typical of ignorance. People either treat it with disdain and fear, or difference, and they look down upon it and laugh at these things. So it's good to see that there is less of that, but those politically correct people just take it too far. Oh, we really shouldn't do that. And when people start talking like that, well, it's very unfortunate. All we need to do is just be cool about it, just realise that not everybody is the same. Some people suffer a little bit temporarily at the falling apart of a very important relationship, or the death of someone that you really, really love. And you can go through a temporary crash, I call it, where you just go thundering down and your world seems to just disintegrate around you. And there is a lot of stress, of fear, this feeling of being trapped and at the same time being lost, so trapped in a place that you don't know, you don't understand, and you really don't know what to do. You don't know who to turn to. And if you've never experienced something like that, it's very, very hard for you to define or even understand, let alone know what to do. And it's extremely difficult to talk about because it's very personal, and there is this degree of embarrassment. Now, as you can tell, I have no shame whatsoever. I never have had. So it doesn't bother me to talk about mental health issues, and I really don't care what other people think. So if people are derogatory towards me and put me down, I'm not bothered in the slightest. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. I realise what talents I do have, and people are often surprised. They go, oh, you really are good at writing, aren't you? And that's such a disgusting thing to say. That's just a kick in the slats to me, because they seem surprised. Like they've always assumed that I was completely effing useless at things, because I suffer from depression and bipolar, and I have OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. It's a really horrible thing where you go around and clean light switches and taps and wash your hands 20 times a day and have to have everything so orderly and straight. And a lot of the time, these types of mental illness can snowball. You get more and more and more obsessed with things until they become tremendous hurdles in your life. And awareness, analysing something is the most important thing to start with. Instead of just spinning and spiralling out of control, try and sit back and realise and think about where you are now, what's happening now, and then think about where you were and where you want to be, okay? Because there is always the past, the present and the future. Now, the past we can obviously do not one single jot about. And the future, well, the future never does arrive. There's only today. But what you can do is you can make progressive steps to make tomorrow better, just in little ways. Now, when you suffer from mental health, unfortunately, you're cast down into the gutter amongst the poor. That's what happens because, unfortunately, despite all the pretty words, there has never been a government in this country that has ever valued people who are unwell. They are always seen as some kind of a burden to society, some unfortunate stone in their shoe that needs to be got rid of. And back in the day, they used to lock people up in padded cells and electrocute them to make them feel a little better. Now, there was no science behind it. It was just torture for the sake of it, really. And I know some people who were involved in doing that, and they are very unwell people today, I can tell you. What they did has haunted them for the rest of their lives, because I think deep down they knew what they were doing was wrong. But that's what everyone did, and we are the flock, we follow. And when people like John Kerwin and Mike King were brave enough to start speaking out about their issues, their mental health problems, their problems with depression, because they had such high profile, such high standing in society and respect, and they're obviously to not just good men, but intelligent men who were able to convey ideas very clearly to people and make them realise their knee-jerk reactions to things. So we went from one extreme to the other. We went from nobody cares to everybody cares. And every bugger had I am hope on their websites and all this stuff. Well, they might have been hope then, but they ain't now, because they quickly disappeared and moved on to global warming or change or whatever the next fruit of the day might have been. And that's very unfortunate. You always get this kind of wave where a lot of impetus goes in initially and then fades out because people get tired of it and they need titillation, tomorrow's story, the next rape or murder or whatever's going on in this country, and that passes for news. It's a very sick thing that we do in this country, and this is one of the countries where we really indulge in these frivolous, horrible types of things without showing a lot of care. Now, there was a woman coming home just a couple of weeks ago on the train from Upper Hutt to Masterton, and she was $1 short, so she got kicked off at Upper Hutt and had to find her way to Masterton for the sake of $1. Now, these days a pie costs about $4, and a can of Coke about $2. So this poor woman had to get from Upper Hutt to Marston, which is a hell of a way, because